Roberto, I said, on the one hand, we just heard about the upsurge in students at ITS, who presumably will want careers in the industry eventually. On the other, do you think employees already in the hospitality sector have sought alternative employment in other sectors, given the devastating impact COVID has had on hospitality?
It is understandable that in times like these, where you have the level of uncertainty to its maximum level at the moment, it is understandable that people would look at possible better opportunities. Having said that, we have to admit also that other sectors have had a negative impact as well in their business. So this, whilst we have been seeing the tourism industry and the hospitality industry growing throughout the years, constantly growing, other industries, for example, the manufacturing, they have also been facing difficulties in this period as well. Namely, even due to global consumer expenditure. When you have a reduction in the consumer expenditure, automatically that is resulting in a cut in the order books, resulting also that we had companies here in Malta, either they've went on reduced hours or else also on or 4 or 3 day week operation. So the effect has been throughout the industries. Not only you had the industries that obviously they had been impacted in a different way than others. Having said that, it's not as if it's just one industry. It's not like when we had the post 9/11, where the tourism sector at that time suffered a bit. It's a completely different scenario, but different sectors are suffering. We have seen also a change in the number of people working within the accommodation and the food and beverage. From statistics I've managed to obtain, between March this year and August this year, we've lost 1,000 jobs in these sectors. So the indication is that we've lost jobs there. Obviously, there were people who moved into other sectors, but we have to keep in mind as well that people in this sector, they are trained for this sector. So shifting to other industries isn't just as easy as it can be said, or else people moving from other industries into the hospitality sector isn't as easy as one would imagine. So that in itself requires the skills also to move from one industry to other. With also what the minister had mentioned, COVID supplement, weight supplement, definitely that has helped. It's all also a matter how long it's going to this situation prevail. That is, we know that the COVID supplement will be there until end of March, and then if required, the government is also considering to extend it if needs be. And having said that, people working on reduced hours, working on an income of 800 euros a month, they have their own commitment. So psychologically, eventually people will start thinking, should I move or should I stay? And that comes the risk on the industry itself. So having people shifting into other industries would mean that we will be facing skills drain or brain drain. And it could be that people would move back into the industry once it starts moving back in. Having said that, the projections in having the industry back to what it was in 2019 is being seen like it will eventually come to the same numbers in 2024, 2025. So this means that we're talking about a period of 3 to 4 years until we start getting back to what we were prior to COVID. So changes could be there in the labor market, movements could happen. Having said that, it's the right time to however, look at the possibility of upskilling of our workers at these times.
Roberto, in your experience, have recent developments discouraged people from seeking jobs in tourism? And I don't mean simply in the accommodation F&B sector, but generally. And how can employers keep their workforce in these challenging times? Is it just a matter of remuneration, or is there more to it?
Well, I believe that we have to look at it from a perspective that the situation is pretty much critical. I mean, if we had to look at it from a perspective of how people are thinking, I mean, if I'm a worker, my first reaction would be, will I have a job in the coming months? Will I be able to maintain the commitments I have with the reduction in income that I'm having? People, it started off that people didn't want to move within, not even in other sectors. Even as a from a recruitment agency perspective, what we've experienced was that people, they sat down, they've put their seatbelt on, and they were embracing themselves and see what's going to happen. By time, we've seen movements coming, also people from other industries moving into the hospitality industry, particularly those in the professional sector. And their people were not arguing that this sector is doomed. I mean, people are realizing that this is a short-term period. It's tough, like in other industries, but it's tougher in this industry. But I believe that people still look at this industry as an opportunity for the future, and they still want to make a career in this industry. From a retention perspective, maintaining our people in the job, it's not just a matter of remuneration. I think it's also a matter of engaging people, being more engaged with people. It's a crucial time that communication is increased with our people. Explaining to our people what the business is going through, even though they are aware, they can see that if we're talking about the accommodation sector, they can see the level of occupancy. Having said that, management, it's important that management communicate with them the plans of the company on a very short term period, what's going to happen. It's also an opportunity, having said that, that at these times we provide training to the employees. It's the right time that during this period we provide training when we have time available in our hands. At the same time, whilst we're receiving the COVID supplement, it's the right opportunity that people are sent back to the training facilities, being on the job or else even on, let's say, class-like training, with the perspective and with the objective of sustaining the level of the skills that we have, but more importantly, upskilling our workforce for better services in the future. I mean, we're all hoping that in the very, very near future, again, it was mentioned March next year, but hopefully things will actually work that way. We'll be seeing the industry going back into what it was in the past. But definitely, we would need to improve on what we've been doing in the past as well, even from a service from a service perspective, and also from the skills perspective of our employees. I think that is crucial. But more than anything else, the element of communicating with people, keeping them engaged, being transparent with them is crucial at these moments.
Roberto, on Monday, Health Minister Chris Fern said we could expect a vaccine in Q1 of 2021. And assuming and hoping he's right, and we see a return to our old normal, what do you think will be the customers' expectations from our hospitality workers? And the flip side is, what do you think will be the workers' expectations from guests? what will we expect that's different?
Returning to the old normal, in my opinion, it will take quite some time. The customer behavior has definitely had an impact with the COVID pandemic. So even when it comes to the tourists, their behavior in booking holidays and traveling will change and is changing. Changes has been also occurring prior to COVID. So the travel industry has been seeing customers who are more climate oriented in the terms of also environmental. You have travelers who would be seeking information from hotels on what kind of environmental policies they have within the hotel, and also, for example, just to give an example, what's the company policy in terms of single-use plastic? So there as well, we have a shift which needs to come, and the change which needs to come not only from the workers in the industry, but also from the leaders in the industry to adjust and adapt to the new realities, to the travelers' reality. I think innovation is extremely important. It's extremely important that the further investment is done also on the digitalization aspect. Let's look at what happened during even the pandemic. I mean, there has been a number of mobile applications coming into effect with services in the sector as well, like takeaway. If we're talking about the transportation, also digitalization of the process. This has helped the either the commuter, either the customer in being more close to the service. I mean, the service has become very close. Actually, it's the other way around. The other way around. The service has come closer to the customer. And when we will be going back to the normal, the expectation of the customer would be that the service is even better now. From an F&B perspective, I remember, and I'll try to take you a little bit back in time when the Life is Beautiful came out, the movie La Vita Bella. Roberto Benigni's role as a waiter, as a server, wasn't just to serve you the food, but it was all about being a gentleman. So this kind of approach towards our guests has to be in that direction. It's also about the guest centricity that we provide as a nation, I would say, not just as an industry. It's important to have excellent and quality people in the hotel, but then going out and our guests are faced with situations out of the hotel that wouldn't be pleasant. I mean, it's not just so. It's quite a holistic approach that we have to look into. I mean, each and every hotelier, each and every restaurant, probably they give the necessary training. You have employers who invest in the quality of the service that they provide. But I think there needs to be a greater effort nationwide in these terms, because the clients, they would expect better from us in the future.